Okay, so I get tired of this time after time when I get told this because I'm very enthusiastic about what, I guess, social media, whatever. But what is the best comeback to those who say, I don't have time to use Twitter or Facebook or I don't get it?
How much time do you spend on your business?
They spend day after day, hour after hour at home, at work, constantly connected to their BlackBerry, and yet they say they don't have time.
But they do have time. And more importantly, it's not so much the time that they have to make, it's the time that needs to be made. Because ultimately they're looking for what? Businesses are looking for what? Customers. Where are customers? Online. And even if they don't get it necessarily, that may not be a bad thing. It's okay. Reaching out to someone in their community. Let's say a restaurant owner doesn't understand Facebook or Twitter, but they know it's important, Foursquare. Reaching out to the people who most frequent that restaurant and saying, hey, could you help us with the Facebook, the blah, 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 and we'll give you some free lunches or free dinners or whatever. And a lot of people in the community would actually do that for a free lunch. And if you don't have someone in your community, or if you don't have a community, that's probably a bigger problem than not really understanding these tools, because people are already talking about your business and you want to be a part of it. And on a more I guess, tenuous note, if they're not talking about your business, that's an even bigger problem. So it's a part of the plan. Just as being in the phone book is a part of a plan. Not just being online is part of a plan, but attracting new customers. It's just a fantastic way, a cost-effective way to attract customers, because instead of you having to work hard about it to attract customers, you work hard to give reasons for customers to come to you and to talk about you. It's just a different way of thinking about the model. So you respond with, do you want to get new customers? And if the answer is no, well, it's not going to be no. It's a given. It's going to be yes. And if the answer is yes, then you say then you need to go where the customers are, and they're going to Google, or they're going to Twitter, they're going to Facebook.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. So with that, I think we'll wrap up, and then we'll invite our other guests to come forward. Let's give Chris a round of applause, everybody. Let me throw it out to everybody, because to me, and part of the reason I asked this question to Chris was there seems to be so many misconceptions about social media, whether it's too difficult to get on. Now, you know what? I probably fall into that category. If it looks difficult, I don't have time for it. I should take more time. You're absolutely right, Chris. I should take more time because I'm probably missing out. But for each of you, what's the biggest misconception you see day in, day out about social media? And maybe where do you see social media going? What would you like to share with this audience about your thoughts about social media? Anyone?
I kind of see a throwback back to the late 1990s. I was working for an e-commerce company when it was e-commerce, everything, to your point earlier, and it was new business. And I was with this company called iCat that invented the shopping cart. They claimed to have invented the shopping cart, and they were just, I'm getting a lot of throwback because our customers like, I gotta have a website. I just gotta. Why? I don't know, I just gotta have one. I gotta be on Facebook. What are you gonna say? I don't know, I just gotta be on. My business has to be on. And I see a lot of similarities between now and the original .com, and I think people trying to force it in there rather than being a natural, authentic discussion and conversation.
Do we use the word bubble? And is that the message I'm hearing, that maybe there's a little bit of hype?
Well, no, because that's not sustainable.
Right.
It's not a sustainable business model. But I don't know if I would make the same argument in saying that social is not a sustainable business model. It's always been a business model. the tools are getting easier and easier to use, but I don't know if I see the same bubble happening today as I did, as we did back then.
What I remember is there were survivors. Amazon, iTunes emerged. The thought was everybody's going to be shopping online. I'm going to make a website and sell everything online or sell advertising, right? It was all about advertising back then. But then the dust settled and Amazon was building a business model. And companies are still around from that. But what were you going to say, Tony? Go ahead.
Well, I think that's the thing is everything's changing, and we can sit here and prognosticate all we want, but in 2 years, something's going to be huge that none of us ever saw coming. And that's just a matter of rolling with the punches. I think that's one of the things that I think of when I think of misperceptions about social media, and I think there's two big things in specific. One is people have this tendency, I think, to think social media is Facebook and Twitter and maybe blogging. And, there's more than 24 different types of social media and several hundred social media tools that you can use out there. And so all of them are at your disposal. And the other part of that really that goes with it is I call it kind of the Rubik's Cube syndrome, which I think people say, okay, social media is a Rubik's Cube. If someone could show me the way to solve the Rubik's Cube, I can get it done in 5 minutes and everything will be great. And that's not the situation at all. Social media is not a Rubik's Cube. It's something that you keep working on, and it's a strategy that is going to keep evolving, and it's something that you have to be unafraid of failing, because you will fail in certain respects as you learn and go through the process.
So, Chris, you keep bringing up a point about social, and it's something we preach pretty heavily, is making sure that there's a social part of the online business that you're trying to do, or in many cases I see people just doing one-way social marketing. There's no engagement, there's no conversation, there's no relationship. And I talk to quite a few folks that are frustrated, and they're not quite sure why their social media strategy or lack of strategy has failed. And we see it as maybe they're not engaging correctly, or they're not looking at it as a relationship. So any thoughts from anybody on that?
Yes, I've worked with several organizations that want to disenable the comments, and we want to, the control. And I have to talk them out of that. I have to explain to them that, 95% of Facebook pages out there have comments enabled, and in fact you should set your default to show the comments of your users, not just your own stream of commentary. And they have to go through this huge bureaucratic process of getting approval from their board and their communications committee, and then going through staff training. It's like a stressful, dramatic office ordeal just to decide to what their stamp goes on, and it's really shocking. But I think on a different note, as far as the two-way communication issue is concerned, I think people have to expand their notion of their who are their organizational advocates. They don't necessarily have to be paid employees. You can have, best clients, or the fan concept, and they will go to bat for you, and you can give them that free lunch or dinner in exchange. And getting beyond the traditional modes of exchange is really important to have two-way communication online.
Or to have something worth talking about. I think that's more of a stopping point than anything, not having something, or even creating something worth talking about.